Good evening. That might just about be all I will say. Because who can add to what silence is already revealing? Who would gild the lily of silence with words? Yet how still we must be to receive its impartation. Mysticism is a realm of being, a state of awareness, beyond doing. Even meditation is doing. And to some degree, meditation is but a rung on the ladder leading us towards that place where we are able to simply be the I that we are, that forever is the all and only, the one life. That just is. I just am. The less doing, the better. The more being, the freer I am in and as that I that is the consciousness we all are, the one life. But in stillness alone are we able to receive its revelation of the fullness and the completeness, the perfection of our own being. The completeness of which nothing can deny, nothing in time and space can ever enter to defile or make a lie. Of the completeness that is the perfection of the I we truly are, but which we experience only in the stillness of being, whose silence speaks of our eternal presence. The fact that in truth the reality of life is that we were never born. We are eternal being. We are invisible, omnipresent incorporeality itself. I just am. God just is, and whatever it is that God is constitutes the nature of the I that I am, and this is you. This is not someone outside you. This is the I of your own being, the consciousness you are speaking of itself. Revealing the truth of itself, the truth of yourself, the truth of the one self, the one life, whose perfection precludes the need for demonstration, except to know this truth that reveals our freedom in being, even whilst yet in the flesh. We are not of it. We are incorporeality itself, incorporeal being is the reality of that one self that just is, and in being alone speaks of its perfection and completeness. In stillness do we apprehend its revelation, its message. The manifestation of the living word itself. Which you are, and which I am. We are each the fullness of that infinite self, individually made manifest, but nevertheless each the fullness of that one life. We never were and we never had any other life than this. The life that just is. The life that was never born and can never die, it never suffers. It just is. The totality, the completeness and the perfection of being. And speaks of its ever-present reality as that living, the Son of the living God itself. Man created as he truly is in the image and likeness of God, inviting us all to be still and know I am God. Letting the revelation of silence have its way in our awareness. Its message speaks of life eternal. I am come. Not I once was and went or will be one day if. But never has the time been when I was not come. In and as the fullness of that one life, made manifest in and as the I that you are. This is the revelation of mystical consciousness, beyond the realm of doing, demonstrating, changing, even accepting the belief that we exist as or in the realm of effect, to suffer from the good or the evil of universal belief. That's just the hypnotism. And the very nature of being, in its totality and simplicity, is omnipotence itself. We need do nothing to that which never was a reality, a power or condition. We only need be still, abide as a beholder, and watch and see. Omnipotence in action. The establishment of harmony, peace, perfection. Where sometimes a body or mind might seem to be troubled, assailed. If we can but be still in the midst of that lion's den without reaction, without rising to the bait, without accepting the belief, and without fearing the consequence, but by simply establishing ourselves in the awareness of that one life that is omnipresent, incorporeal and ever-present, we will begin to, without doing, assert dominion by grace, just as the light need do nothing to the darkness. It just is. I just am. And in being, assert total dominion over that which claims existence, which is that imposition on us all of a universal belief in a selfhood apart from or other than that one. But I can only at most rest and let there be light. Trusting that he whose right it is to become is come, even before I call, and already is revealing the answer to all that I might seem to ever be in need of, which really is only the knowing of this truth. How unworthy we can be made to feel, simply by the vestige of sense called mortality that we all drag around with us, filled with belief, the love of or fear of things, person, which is hypnotism. And we have to release all material sense, be willing to cease from and put off the mortal. And be willing to use as instruments of that ceaseless ever-presence called consciousness. That says, I have chosen you, you have not chosen me. I am come that you have life. But in order for us to have and be the life we are, we must be willing to bring to the altar all that seems to be us and surrender it into the peace and unto the light. That is even now speaking of its ever-presence in your awareness and mine, here now. And so what is our prayer of revelation? But Father, you reveal yourself, thyself to me. I didn't put me here. I haven't created this I that I am of myself. Thy will be done. Whatever it is, I am willing to allow thy will to be done in me this day on earth, as it is in heaven. To this end was I born, not to seek in the realm of effect to be or become anything in and of or for myself, but to be willing to be used as an instrument of that one divine presence that is the I that I am, the I that you are. This is that one consciousness, I, speaking, present, here, in and as the fullness of us all, inviting us to be still, to leave all, to cease from man, to put off the mortal, to give up the ghost, and all that attributes to it, all of the good and the evil, the claims of a material sense, the hypnotism of mortality. Let us, at least for this season, this time, whilst in this oasis of peace, be willing to leave all for its sake, that it might reveal and become in us whose right it is. That one we are, the one I am, the one we truly seek, Prince of Peace. That we might be filled and pervaded by the all-pervading peace of that one divine presence that makes of each and every one of us son of the living God. For surely that living God is living in us now. We have no other life. We have no life to live or to lose but that one life. Take no thought for your life, for that one life is your life. And so we seek only to bring ourselves into the light, unto the altar to pray in silence, stillness and peace. That through our stillness we might hear the voice of the silence speak of its eternal presence as spirit, as consciousness, as pure being, eternal in the heavens, not made with hands, not mortal, material, finite, not even visible, not temporal, never born, never dying, not suffering from anything in the realm of effect, but ever present and eternal in the now, untouched by the illusions of a material sense of life that are but the darkness that cannot come into the presence of omnipresence, the omnipresence of the light, of being, your being, my being, the being I am. That if I am willing to leave all four, will go before me to prepare a place, to make all crooked places straight, and to appear as and in infinite form and abundance. I just have to be willing to leave all, to cease from man, to keep my mind stayed and vision single-minded on the truth of that one life, incorporeal. Pure being. Is the truth of your being. And as you become still, as we, as I, become still, we can begin to release all sense of person, whether it be sick or well, rich or poor, ultimately even alive or dead, because these are but the opposites that are the evidence of this world, which we are told in the New Horizon is nothing but hypnotism. And it is, even whilst yet in it, that we must awaken from it, to learn the lessons of it, the pitfalls sometimes, the lessons that we are come to learn about the one I am we truly are, that in truth is never touched, in it but not of it, never touched by the mesmerism of a material sense. Can we, during this short time together, can we release all that we seem to be, all that we seem to bring or have brought? Can we let go, cease from, put off this world, just for a season, just for until this very night, or 3 days, or perhaps forever? Can we learn to be in the world and not of it? Can we learn to be nothing but the expression of the divine, whose creative principle is made manifest through our God-given individual unique talents? To be the unique self that we each individually are. And yet each one the fullness of all that God is. How amazing. No wonder we can take no thought for our life, for that one is our life. That one that is eternal, changeless, ceaseless. Ever present in and as the now moment is your life and mine. That in the silence speaks. Saying, I am come. Consciousness is what I am. It's not easy for the natural man in us to surrender. And we are all touched to some degree by the imposition on the freedom we truly are of that material sense of life, identity, existence, duality. When even in the flesh we can abide as beholders of the eternal presence made manifest. Life, truth, love, oneness, being. Stillness, silence, awareness. Yet how long it takes us to surrender. How many times we have to bring ourselves back to the altar to pray, to release, to relinquish, to surrender, to give up the ghost, to seek our own forgiveness. For in the mortal material sense of life and identity, we know not what we do. We mean well. But a child that is lost cannot be blamed for going the wrong way, and we all do. Because to some degree we manifest and make a reality of the hypnotism of this world. And then we have to release it for the impersonal nothingness it is. And that is why during this short time together we will be invited to do just that. To be refreshed and renewed, to return to our place of work and worship in the world, touched by some greater degree of freedom in the light that will allow us to go another mile, that will renew our energies, that will encourage us to continue to study, to seek, to search, or simply to be still. In faith, trust and hope in things unseen, knowing that we are forever one with that which we set out to seek. The I that we are and the Father being one. But are we willing to awaken? Are we willing to give up, cease from, put off the mortal, constantly, as Joel tells us, subliminally imposes itself as a mesmeric influence, a state of hypnotism, as if there ever were a selfhood apart from God, called this world, when it's just the mental creation, the belief in two powers and a selfhood apart. That which we see is not the reality or truth of what is. And yet it is right there where that appearance seems to be the reality, the truth, the eternality of true identity is. Right there where that appearance seems to be, I am, because I am omnipresent. Regardless of the appearance, it doesn't matter if it's a him or a her, or this or that, this nation or that, this world or whatever it might seem to be, because I fill all space and beside me there is none other. We have total dominion in stillness over all things, over the mental creation, unto which from the standpoint of stillness we can each say, thou couldst have no power over me, unless it were given thee of God. And yet the world will still threaten, it will still claim to be a power over us. Know ye not that I have the power to crucify you or set you free? It is for us then to be still and realize omnipresence, the omnipresence of omnipotence itself, which, being the light, dissolves the illusion of anything other than itself. The belief in two powers. Neither this nor that. Only being. And in being is found the truth of the one life. We can release all mortal material concepts of form and identity and let the revelation of the ever-presence of that one life take place. It's the healing of the breach. It's the dissolution of all sense of separation. It's the revelation of omnipresence itself. And it all takes place without effort, without even knowing, without doing, but in being still. And yet how persistent is the hypnotism. How convincing is the evidence of sense. How hypnotic the illusion of duality. And yet, when we realize omnipresence, we are one. I, through my conscious union with God, am one with all spiritual being and idea, Joel tells us. When we release the apparency of duality, mortality, all sense of division evidenced in the realm of appearance, and rest back in the peace of omnipresence, we become one with all being, with each other, in and as that one life. And then if I be raised up, I draw all men unto me. We become fishers of men, we become healers of the breach, we become purveyors of the light, just through being, not doing. There's nothing personal to it. It is inevitable and effortless. When we put in the effort of bringing ourselves to that altar of stillness and surrendering in peace. Longing, reaching out for peace, that peace might become us as it is us. Willing to let what it is that we are be the freedom on earth that it is. Ever present in the eternal now moment. God is speaking in the silence. That which is the essence, the substance of all words, the living word. Speaking now. And as the eye of your being, expressing its fullness as you. The fullness of life, truth, love, made manifest as you now. We need no more words. We need but the experience of that about which all the words for so long have spoken, have directed our attention. To the source of our being. One with the living God. One with the fullness of its ever-presence. Some teach in the silence alone. we are being brought to that place where we hear the message of the silence, where we feel that living essence of life, God being made manifest, manifesting itself now in this moment, expressing itself in its fullness as each and every one, infinitely individual as your being and mine. We would seem to have come in time and space, but we are called to a journey, to make a journey, the journey of being, the journey of letting go, unto which end we are born, unto which end we are come to this place, to have an experience of our own withinness, of its infinite nature and omnipresence, that we might fearlessly release and allow the dissolution of personal sense, that right here where I, mortality man, seem to be, the truth of being as consciousness might be revealed. And for this to happen, there has to be in quietness and in confidence an atmosphere and an environment prepared to receive the babe, the birth and revelation of Christ. In whose presence and light we all stand, suffering only our own inability to allow its fullness to reveal itself in and as the I that we are. And so we surrender that. Thy will be done this day on earth as it is in heaven. Glorify thyself in me, that I might glorify thee. For of myself I can do nothing, the Father within, he doeth the work. And it is the work of revelation. And it is the revelation of that which forever was, is, and shall forever be, the eternal ever-presence of that one life that makes of each and every one of us son of the living God. It doesn't seem that way to us. It doesn't look that way to us, or our world even less. But a rose is still a rose by any other name. And nothing has or can ever change the fact, the truth, and the reality of your being and mine as forever one with all that God is. Can we bring ourselves to a place of surrender? Dissolution? Letting go? Being still? Letting stillness prevail? Can we? Are we? Let us be still. Rest. Now in the Word, the living Word, and let there be light. It's strange, we come so far, we do so much, we invest to such a degree, simply to bring ourselves to a place where we are invited to not do anything, but to be still. And that is the sign of our commitment. We might be willing, but except the Lord build the house, they labour in vain that build it. So we can only bring ourselves in longing to the light and say, "Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth." In being, I am speaking. Do you hear my voice? It says to us all. The voice of being. How determined are we to maintain our attention and our awareness on this silence of our own withinness? Or how easily will we be drawn out back into this world? Do we understand the need for silence in our lives? Stillness, peace. Awareness without doing. Meditation in action. Pure being. The living word. Living in and as the I that you are, and revealing itself in the silence of your awareness. Have we begun to understand the perspective of the revelation of silence and the voice of this world, so that we can choose ye this day whom we will serve, and direct our attention in a determined fashion to the depths of our own withinness, and listen that he might utter his voice, that the earth of error, material sense, might melt. But when our purpose in being is to be called to mystical consciousness, we have to understand the priority of inner awareness, regardless of whatever else we might seem to need to have to do in life. This is the greater work, even whilst yet in the flesh, to know, to see, to be, untouched by the belief that we exist as a mortal. Even whilst yet in the flesh, we are not of the flesh. Even whilst yet in the world, we are not of the world. We are eternal being, in the world but not of it. And to some degree we are returning to this state or dimension of awareness called the Father's house, that allows us to live in the world, to be untouched, unfooled, unmoved, unafraid of the slings and arrows of material belief. What this nation will do to that, what he will do to me, what one man is doing to another, man's inhumanity to man. What is the nature of this world of appearances? What is this world that I see, that seems so real, that I hear, whose evidence is made manifest through the senses? What is this world in the face of my ever greater, ever deepening, unfolding, awakening and awareness of the truth of my own being, the reality of the one life, of all being as the one life called God? What then? Who or what then can persuade me that either life or death can separate me from the love of God? from my oneness with that which is the love, that is the life, that is God, that is the I that I am, the I that you are. What an amazing revelation. Do we even understand? Probably not. Hopefully we have no sense of thinking we do. It's beyond comprehension. The majesty of revelation that is mind-boggling to the natural man. No wonder he comprehendeth not the things that are a revelation of the truth of his own being, called God. Who could contain within the frame of mortality the revelation of infinity? No man. It says no man has seen God. No wax bird ever arrived at the sun. But on arrival its dissolution heralded the fact that in reality it had finally returned to being what it was it set out to seek. And realized that in truth it never was. It never became a self and a part that had to return. But has returned in being to knowing. I and my Father are one. I need take no thought for my life or anyone else's. That's the hypnotism of this world. I refuse to rise to the bait of accepting the belief in the illusion of duality, mortality, the belief in two powers, good and evil. I absolutely, through the realization of the omnipresent incorporeality of the I am that I am, assert the dominion that is mine by grace over all things in the sky, on the earth and beneath the sea, and say unto the entire hypnotism of it all, thou couldst have no power over me or anyone else, except it were given thee of God, and it isn't. No power is given to the darkness by the light, except the invitation for dissolution. Come unto me, by all means, but please understand you cannot bring yourself with you. You must be willing to let go, let be, let flow, and let free, and see the reason for your being show. For life will solve itself. Just let it. Don't try to understand. I only need to sow the seed of staying where I am. And that is not immortal in time and space, but the fact, the truth, and the revelation of the one life in consciousness, eternal in the heavens, not made with hands. Pure being. And then the acceptance. I am that I am. The acceptance of which is the sowing of a seed in the fertile soil of silent awareness that will come forth in one here and one there, in you and me, as the revelation of the tree of life itself, whose branches feed the hungry, tend the sheep, feed my flock with life, truth, and love. For if any man should drink of these living waters that I within him will give and reveal to him, he will never thirst again, but will be a fountain source of life and revelation, resurrection unto all who are in and part of his experience. Just through being, not doing, just through being. How you are, Emerson said, shout so loud, I can't hear what you say. Just be still and know me as I am, and you will be satisfied with that likeness. For it shall reveal the truth of yourself as the image and likeness of God. I don't expect any of us to have grasped the significance of what we have shared. But just keep it silently within yourself, that it might reveal its revelation, its purpose for your being here. And we meet again in the morning at 9:45. Thank you.